now. Okay, and so welcome. So really nice to have you all here. Diverse people from diverse areas. This is great. We really enjoy this, so welcome. My name is Bill Filler. I've been working with Edwin for about 4 years on this project and the training. I'm located in the San Francisco Bay Area. I'm a retired special education teacher. And the reason that I was involved is that when I noticed that when kids felt heard, I worked with a very intense population. And when they felt heard, that the violence went down. And I think the world needs a healthy dose of that. And so that's why I am here. And I'll call on the trainers and the people who have done this before to do an introduction, and the rest of you will do your introductions after the circle when we come back into the big room again. So I'll call on Edwin. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Edwin Rutch from the San Francisco Bay Area. I'm founder of the Center for Building a Culture of Empathy, and I find that this Empathy Circle practice is the best first step gateway practice for learning empathy skills. So I want to teach everyone in the world, 8 billion people. It's our mission, yes, to teach them all how to do empathic listening for better well-being.
Okay, yeah. And Kathy.
Yes. So I came to this because I'm with the Peace Alliance, and one of our cornerstones for peace is being the peace we want to see in the world. And so when I came to this Empathy Circle, I thought this was a perfect thing for our network. So I'm hooked, and I'm here almost every week.
Great. Kathy's a great addition. Linda, another great addition. Yes.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Linda Bass from Keller, Texas, right outside of Fort Worth. I told somebody I kind of like Alice in Wonderland. I fell down this hole, and it's great. I was looking for some articles on empathy, and I came across this free training, and it's probably the best training, paid or free, that I've had online since COVID. So it's a wonderful experience, a great way to learn to interact and communicate with people on a real level.
Thanks, Linda. Celine.
Hello, everybody. My name is Celine. I live in the United States in the West Coast in Oregon, and I have a lifetime of work in mediation and peace activism. And I believe that when we can learn to listen to each other, the world is going to be a better place. And so I love the empathy circles, and I'm committed to expanding this all over the world, starting with you today. I'm glad you're here. Thank you.
Thank you, Celine. Larry.
So I'm Larry in Florida, and I love the empathy circles. And I've lived a long time on the same planet, like most of us. So welcome, everyone.
Okay, and I'll just give a brief introduction, and then we'll go and we'll show you what we're going to be doing today. The Empathy Circle, this is an intro cafe. If you're interested to go on and become an Empathy Circle facilitator, and we know that training is free, and that is it's ongoing, and you can check Edwin's website for the times and things like that. And so I'll pass it over to Edwin, and he'll give you an overview of what we're going to be doing today. He'll share his screen.
Okay, this is just a quick overview. We already did the welcome and the intros, and we have a large group. We just have the facilitators introduce themselves, and then at the end, everyone will get a chance to introduce themselves after. We're going to review the training, go over the website for the training. We'll have some time for questions and answers. We'll show a short 6-minute video on how to take part in an empathy circle. And then we'll do an empathy circle. We'll start off with a fishbowl just to model it. Then you'll all get to go into breakout rooms to actually practice. And then at the end, we'll have about 20 minutes to go around for each person to introduce themselves and share their experience in the empathy circle. So that was our outline. And
okay. All right. And then I'm going to pass it to Celine, who will do about the training.
Yes, hello. And I'm going to do a screen share also. Okay. So this is the website, and this website that Edmund has put together, this is showing you the other groups, the cohorts who have taken the training, or some of them. It is chock full of information about empathy, and you will find videos, YouTubes, everything you want to know about empathy. The vision for the empathy, building a culture of empathy circles, is to create a culture of empathy, a global culture of empathy based on the values of mutual empathy, openness, and care. And the mission is to raise the level of empathy on the planet by training all 7 billion plus people on the planet to take the Empathy Circle training. So you are in good company. As this is mentioned, it's an open source training. You don't pay unless you want to make a contribution. All of us offering this are doing it as volunteers. And I think that's another beautiful value is the generosity that's part of this Empathy Circle Facilitator Training. So this is all about how you can donate, but basically it's your commitment that pays. So let me see, let me close this other stuff. Uh-oh, I lost it.
No, you're still sharing.
Am I here? Okay, thank you. So in order to be part of a group doing the training, we ask that you do you participate in 2 empathy circles. This is one of them. And then you can choose to do another of these cafes to be your second circle. And then the total time required for taking the training is once a week for 5 weeks. And each of those sessions is 2.5 hours. We will meet once a week. So that's important to know that you can make that commitment and you can show up every week for 2.5 hours, which are fun, by the way. And then we build a community by having an empathy buddy phone call each week, and also by being available to each other at any time to help with empathy circles that you might want to do in your community, in your family, in your church group, or wherever. So this is the series that we're talking about. It's cohort 12D. It starts Saturday, November 20th at the same time. And I don't know about Saturday, November 13th. Okay. So you will learn to be a facilitator of an empathy circle in the course of the training. You will have a lot of support, and you will, if you want it, you will be given some challenges at certain times so that you are prepared in case you are doing an empathy circle, say at work, and somebody interrupts or something like that happens. You won't be thrown off because you've already practiced. This is a learn by doing course. So it's not about theory, or you're not going to be told to read 15 pages in a book or anything like that. You just show up and we do it together, and it's fun. So here we are. This is some of the previous cohorts we have. We have people from all over the world showing up and getting to know each other and supporting each other and learning to facilitate these empathy circles. So, Edwin, do you want to finish up here? Anything that I haven't covered, please?
Okay, the section you're showing right now is just for the training. There's different parts of the training. You can dig into any of those sections to learn more, just click through the link. And if you scroll down farther, Celine, there's a link to just all kinds of references about empathy, some of our other websites, the empathycircle.com website, which is our central location for information about the Empathy Circle. There's and just some other links to the community, and our empathy tent that you see at the bottom. We take this tent out to public spaces and offer listening to the public out on the street, and offer empathy circles and conflict mediation. And the one part was the training path, Celine. You could stop the share. I think that was the end.
Okay, sure.
And
So the training, yeah.
Oh, go ahead about
Go
the
ahead.
training path. Yeah.
Well, the training path is you take the training the first time, you like it, maybe you want to take it again, you can take it again. I've taken it umpteen times, and then you can become a trainee. And we have some trainees with us today, and then you do, you know, for a while you're a trainee, and then you can move up to trainer. It's just about how much experience you have and how much commitment to it you have. So that's what you can look forward to. And again, with a lot of support from your community of facilitators and trainers and trainees and participants. So I am passing it on to Edwin
Any
again.
questions? You could open it for questions.
All right, yeah. Any questions right now?
I do. You mentioned, I think I saw it on LinkedIn that there was another date besides Saturdays. Is it Mondays that you offered also? Did I get that right?
Yes, there is a cohort starting this coming Monday, in fact. And
Actually, it already started last Monday.
Oh, right,
It's
it
in
did.
progress, so it's going to be into November when the next cohort starts on Mondays. Yeah.
Thank you.
thank you, Precious. Anyone else have a question?
I have a question.
Yes.
This is Jose. I had a little difficulty in sharing. The dates were a little bit some date, next Saturday's at 11. Does the time frame change from 10 to 11? Or is
The
it just
times are
Pacific?
always, yeah, the times are always 10 a.m. Pacific on Mondays.
Perfect.
Or on, it's always, we'll be having daylight savings times, you know, and I don't know, I think that starts in November. So, but we'll always go off of Pacific time. So I have to calculate what the Pacific time is for your time zone. If it's international for
Gotcha. So it's always at 10.
10 a.m. Pacific,
Perfect.
right?
Awesome. Thank you.
And Edwin, you may want to tell them about the world clock.
Oh yeah, there should be a link. Usually we have links to the world time. So there is a link on the web page, and it goes to the time and date, and it shows the time and dates all around the world. So you'll be able to see that. If you kind of poke around there, you should find those links.
I was poking around a little bit, but those links, because I saw for Mountain Time, it didn't really do anything. I didn't know if I need to copy it and then put it onto an address box, but you confirmed it. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Jose. Anyone else have a question?
There's Vanessa. I see they have their hand up.
Right.
I'm not.
I
There we go.
admit I had to step away, but I would like to be part of a cohort. How do I sign up for a day and time?
Okay, so go ahead.
Answer that, Celine. So you can go to the website, which we were just showing, and it has the sign up is there. So actually, let me share it real quickly to review this. I'm going to just show that. So that was the website. If you scroll down, you'll see the sign up right here on the front. And you can see there's a link to the different series. And you'll pull out a window here, and there's a sign up here. You can see the cohort. So that's the next cohort.
This is going a little too fast for me.
Okay.
I'm not able to find that easily?
Sure. I just
Is it
put
in
the
the
link
chat?
in. Yeah, I just put the link into the website on the chat.
Okay,
And if you just go there and follow, you just scroll down, you'll see the links to the sign up.
and the links are the days and the times I can choose?
Yeah.
Thank you, Edwin.
Thanks. Thank you.
Thank
So-
you, Vanessa, for your interest.
I was having a hard time getting in and I'm not sure what's going on now.
Yeah, we're just doing a Q&A and we have two people answering, asking questions. Min, do you want to go next?
Yes, this is Minister Jacqueline. I wanted to know, is it impossible to be in the cohort for Monday? I think this is my second, this is my second one.
Yeah, the cohort on Monday has already started. It's totally packed. We have like
Okay.
30 participants. You have to wait for the new one to start,
Okay.
and just check the website and sign up for those there. Yeah.
All right, well, then I'll sign up for the November.
Okay,
Thank you.
Great. Yeah, I look forward to
Great,
seeing you
thank you.
there. We're excited about that. So I don't know if you're able to see the screens, but the Shakar is.
Yes, thank you for recognizing. I'm Shkar Rahim from Iraq, Suleimania. And I have a question that I actually missed a great part of the first introduction, and I don't know what was the subject about, but I will ask something, and if this course will provide it and this, this will provide it, I will be grateful. We, in my community, we actually don't have group therapy. We don't have like empathy circle. We don't have those things. Like people are not used to talk about their emotion, talk about feelings and those things, especially those who had traumas. And what I'm actually trying to do is collaborate with some organization and with a local organization to coordinate empathy circle for us, like a group therapy for us, and I will be heading the group. So what I'm asking is, this course or this website, your course will help me to achieve that, or it's about something else?
Maybe I could answer that, Celine. So yeah, the Empathy Circle is a great practice for sort of therapeutic as well as, team building. And so we're glad to, if you take the training, you'll learn to facilitate, and we're glad to help support you. There's people who are they hold their own empathy cafes. They'll have maybe, I think the largest one we held was with 80 participants. And we send out a request for facilitators to help support that. And then a bunch of people come and they'll help support and facilitate a large empathy cafe. And we can also help you set up an ongoing, support group. So we're here to support all of you in holding empathy circles, as well as using empathy, the training, to create training for your own communities. And if you're able to, we have 2 cohorts, that we're setting up. But if you have a large community, we have maybe 20 people who might want to take part, you can organize that. We can bring some trainers to help, set up a training. So I don't know, did that kind of answer your question?
Yeah, thank you. It answers my question, but the issue is that it's in English, and most people here speaks a different language.
Right. So once you've learned the process, you can sort of scale up, have a circle in your language with participants, and then you teach them. So this is sort of a teach the teachers, train the trainers. And so we sort of keep that you'll be able to eventually also be able to train your community how to take part in empathy circles, and also, to train your community. And I see Bill has a comment on that.
Yeah, just really quickly. Also, Extinction Rebellion, XR, doing a lot of work with the Kurdish community as far as community assemblies, community and discussions. And it's very compatible with empathy circles. As a matter of fact, XR has cited empathy circles as a core practice. So in your community, there might be already XR, communities who are already doing something like this. So that might be a resource for you.
And
That's it.
XR is Extinction Rebellion, which is an environmental group that uses empathy circles a lot internationally. So is there a question, Vanessa, or is that your hand still up from before?
Yeah, I went into the website for cohorts sign up, and I have the listing of the cohorts, but it doesn't show me the days and the times. It just shows lists of cohorts.
If you scroll down, you should be able to see.
It shows me all the cohorts, names, numbers, names, numbers, names, numbers, names, numbers, but no dates or times.
Okay, let me put in, this is the, for example, the cohort 12. And if you scroll down to the bottom, you'll see the, if you're able to see
I'm
that.
already at the bottom.
Yeah, so cohort
Number
12D,
2.
12D is Saturday, November 20th is the date.
All I have is cohort 02.
Well, I'll give you my email and we can maybe talk about it offline, just because we.
Okay, put it in the chat and I'll take a note of it. Thank you, Edwin.
So the email. So we want to go next into, just to keep on track here. So we're going to do, Kathy, do you want to do our, oh, I got to do the how-to. Let me show that video. So that's my email. So next we're going to show the how-to take part in Empathy Circle. That's what we're here to do. So let me share that on the screen. And here we go. These are the basic steps for taking part in an empathy circle. So Center for Building a Culture of Empathy. I'd like to welcome you to this short presentation on how to take part in a basic empathy circle. So next, let's look at the step-by-step how to take part. An empathy circle starts with 2 to 7 participants. Here on the screen, we have 4 participants, which I find is an ideal number. There are 4 basic roles, and the roles rotate among the participants as the empathy circle unfolds. 1, the speaker, is the first person to speak. 2 is active listener who actively listens to the speaker. There's the silent listeners, they quietly observe and witness. And the facilitator who organizes, schedules, and hosts the circle. They also do the timekeeping, and they have some experience with the process and help keep participants in the process. However, everyone has the responsibility to hold the process and the practice. So to begin with, the facilitator will start the empathy circle. They welcome the participants. They lead introductions if the participants don't know each other. The facilitator invites participants to give short introductions, for example, their name, where they're from, and something personal about themselves. The facilitator then reviews the empathy circle process to remind everyone how it works. They announce the discussion topic, if there is one. Even if there is a topic, you can always talk about what is alive for you. That is what is on your mind in the moment. And 5, they set the speaker time limits, perhaps 5 minutes, for example. And the facilitator then asks who would like to start to be the first speaker. So at that point, the participant volunteers to be the first speaker. As speaker, you select who will be your active listener, and you can select anyone that you want. You speak about the topic given or whatever is alive for you. And so you'll speak a bit until you have maybe expressed an idea or two. And then you want to pause to give the active listener a chance to recap what they understand that you are saying and feeling. If you say too much, the listener may have difficulty in reflecting it. As the active listener, you are listening to the speaker to get an understanding of what they're saying and what is important to them. You are giving them your full attention as a supportive companion on their inner journey and exploration. When the speaker pauses, you recap your understanding of what they said and how they feel by reflecting the essence of that in your own words. You can summarize, paraphrase, or even say the speaker's words back to them. Even though you may have a strong impulse to respond with your own ideas, judgments, analysis, advice, and sympathy, or even questions, resist the impulse to do so because these common responses block the speaker from moving along their internal journey. You'll be able to say whatever you want when it is your turn to be the speaker. If you don't reflect the understanding to the speaker's satisfaction, they can always say it again. Then as speaker, you check, do you feel understood to your satisfaction? If you do not feel understood, you can say it again, perhaps in different words. If you do feel understood, continue sharing. Again, after speaking a bit, pause to give your active listener a chance to recap their understanding of what you said. As the active listener, you again share your understanding of what the speaker said and meant. The cycle of speaking and reflecting continues until you, as the speaker, do not have anything else you'd like to say, or until you get a signal from the timekeeper. If you get a signal from the timekeeper, then finish up what you're saying in a sentence or two. After you get a final reflection, you can end your turn by saying something like, I feel fully heard, or something like that to indicate you are done with your speaking turn. At that point, the roles then rotate. The active listener becomes the speaker. The person they select becomes the new active listener. For everyone having equal time, it is good to select someone that hasn't spoken lately, but it is your choice. The others in the circle become the silent listeners. This process of taking turns in speaking and active listening continues for whatever time is allotted for the empathy circle. And this was just a very short introduction. The best way to learn the practice is taking part and doing it. There is more in-depth material on taking part in an empathy circle and facilitating one at empathycircle.com. Thank you for listening. Okay, so that's the basic instructions, and now Kathy's going to lead us in a sample empathy circle to begin with.
Great. So if the facilitators could raise their hands if you want to be part of this empathy circle. And let me get myself on gallery view. And so we're trying something different. We usually use participants to learn. We thought it might be better if the facilitators modeled before we go into our small breakout groups. So if this works for you, let us know. And if it didn't, you can let us know that also. So I'm going to be in the empathy circle, Celine, Larry, and Bill. And I'm the timekeeper, and I'm the first person to listen. So who would like to begin by talking? Larry?
I'm just putting the question in too into the chat.
Oh, I've
why
got
are
a
you
question.
interested in the
I've got a question. Since it's us, speak about one of your core values or whatever is alive in you. Larry, I'm listening.
Thank you, Kathy. I would say peace is one of my core values. And I'm interested in the empathy circles because in the experience that I have with them, that it does bring about this feeling, this sense, this true awareness of peace within that I think can be experienced everywhere with everyone.
Yeah. So you're here for peace within, and you'd like to see this spread so that everybody has a sense of this peace.
Exactly. Thank you, Kathy. Yeah, I see that is a real possibility, not just a fantasy, that we human beings don't need nuclear weapons that we can actually live in peace with one another and have no need for wars.
Mm. So this is not pie in the sky for you. You think it can really happen?
Yeah, and I think it's actually our natural way of being. And we've all been kind of indoctrinated into a domination thought system that's gone on for thousands of years. But that's not natural. Our natural way is peaceful.
Mm. So you'd like to see us move away from the unnatural way of dominating others and get more into the cooperative way and connections that we were born with.
Thank you, Kathy. I feel fully heard.
Great. Okay, so Larry, it's your turn to be the speaker, and you can choose somebody to listen.
Actually, you're the speaker, Kathy, since you listen.
Oh, yeah. So I just modeled what not to do. So the listener then becomes the speaker. So I'm going to ask Linda, would you listen to me?
Yes.
Okay,
Gladly.
great. Oh, so what's alive in me? Well, the thing that just came to my mind, Linda, is that I love having you here, a fellow Texan, because you bring all those sayings that we always do, and I forget about them. So I love hearing that.
Okay. You appreciate me being here because I have these old people quotes that make people smile, and you enjoy it. Okay.
Yes, yeah. And so my core values. So one of the things I loved about the first training we had when I started this was that our assignment was to come with our core values, 3 of our core values. And I started looking up core values because I didn't do that in a while. And so I said, well, what are my core values right now, right? So before I tell you that, I'll just pause so you can reflect.
Yeah, one of the first assignments for the circle was to identify at least 3 of your core values. And because you hadn't really given any thought to it in a long while, you actually looked it up to help spare some thought.
Yes. And so one of the core values that I discovered that I hadn't really thought about before was presence. And the definition I've found for that I love because it encompasses mindfulness, really truly and totally being there for other people. It reminds me too of keeping your heart open.
So your core value was, and I apologize if Lois kind of threw me off the core value.
I know, presence.
Yeah, it was presence, and that's all about mindfulness and peaceful and being in the moment. And you discovered that was one of your core values. Okay.
Right. Yeah, and being there for other people. So being completely present with other people. And part of that for me is like my heart is open.
Okay, so being there for other people to you is opening your heart to the other person, is this inviting them in and you allowing them to come into your space.
Yes, I love that reflection. Thank you. I feel fully heard.
Thank you. Okay, since I was the listener, I will become the speaker, and I'll pick Celine to listen.
Okay, great.
One of my core values is, and like Kathy, I had to really think about it. And I think the top of the list is authenticity, honesty.
So when you think of your core values, what comes up for you is authenticity, honesty.
Yes. I have a problem with people that do not have a close relationship with the truth. When people ask my opinion, and I think the answer is going to be a little difficult for them, or not what they expect, I generally ask, do you really want to know?
So it's difficult for you when people are not honest and open. And when somebody asks you a question or your opinion about something, you want to make sure that they really want to hear the truth. And so you'll ask them, do you really want to know?
Yes. And if they say yes, I do, give my honest opinion. Not that it's a fact, but it is my honest opinion. And I try to be as tactful as I can, because I can be direct.
So if somebody says yes, you will give your honest opinion, and you try to be tactful so that you're not too difficult or
Yes.
too hard on the
Yes.
person, to put it that way.
And that's where the empathy circle connects for me, because when you are truly listening to the other person and you let them know that they're being heard, then they tend to be more authentic and you tend to be more authentic. It's hard to hide your real self.
So you find that the empathy circle supports this value of honesty, because you find that when people really are being listened to and they really feel heard, and then they listen in turn, that there's just a natural tendency to be honest.
Yes. Thank you, Celine. I feel fully heard.
Thank you, Linda.
So maybe we do one more and then we'll go into the breakout rooms. So Celine, if you want to select someone.
Okay. Bill, would you listen to me, please?
Happily, sure.
So I think one of the core values of my core values, and a core value of the empathy circles that come together, is mutuality or equality.
So you feel that there's a convergence between the core value in this group and yours, which is mutuality, and you also equate that with equality.
Yes, and I love, a circle to me is a symbol of mutuality or equality. Everybody has a place in the circle. Nobody's above or below, or everybody fits in the circle. I'll pause there.
So you find that the configuration of a circle is a demonstration of equality and mutuality.
Yes, and I love that everybody gets an opportunity to speak, and to speak honestly, whatever they want to say when it's their turn. And there will be somebody who is fully present and listening, no matter what that person is saying.
So one of the qualities about the circles that you really like and enjoy is the fact that somebody can say whatever they want, and there'll always be someone there to be fully present and listen to and reflect them.
Yes. And then I look forward to when it's my turn, and I know that I can say whatever silly or serious or crazy or inspiring or whatever thing I want to say, and somebody will be fully listening to me.
Right. And then you also feel that rather than just being a drain and listening to other people, people will do the same for you. And that feels really good and exciting and fun.
Yes, exactly. Thank you, Bill. I feel fully heard.
Okay.
Great.
And now I guess we'll turn it over to Edwin again, and we'll go into the circles.
Yeah, thank you all. Edwin, my screen went blank. I'm going to hop off and come back on. So I want you in, okay?
All right.
He'll see you though.
Yeah, thanks, Kathy. So,
Yeah.
So next we're going to go into the breakout rooms. You're going to hop off, Kathy? Or
I'll come right back in.
Okay, great. Yeah, because you're a facilitator, so we got to have her be here. So we're going to go into our breakout rooms now, so you get to actually practice. So you had a little bit of a model to see how the practice worked. We had an explanation, and you saw it demonstrated. So the question we're going to have in the breakout rooms is, why are you interested in empathy and empathy circles and the training, or whatever is alive for you? You could talk about your values, or just, how your day's been, or any struggles or joys in your life. So you can always talk about whatever you have energy for. And then let's see, we're going to have about 55 minutes. Then we'll come back. I'll send a little announcement about 5 minutes before, and then we'll come back into the full room and debrief in the room. So let's see if think we're ready to go into the rooms, and here we go. And whoever has ECF after the name is Empathy Circle Facilitator, and will be facilitating the breakout room, and will be the first listener too. Oh, there you are, Kathy. Great. Let's see, we have to put you into the room. Have to set that up. So move to room 2.
Will they automatically go in the rooms?
Oh, I have to set that automatically. Automatically move assigned participants. I always forget to set that. So here we go.
We're finna be beamed up.
Beam up, beam me up. So Linda, you're in the weight room. So I'll be here with you.
Okay.
So. Yeah, so this is our group.
Oh, good. Ooh.
And I'll just mention, this is the weight room. So sometimes people come in and out of the call. If they get dropped, they'll come through this room. So I'll just give you a heads up to that. Yeah, okay.
Dwayne, I don't know if you have light on or whatever, but your face is not that clear. I don't know if you can adjust any setting. Could be the light on in the room or off in the room or whatever. So I don't know.
My light's on in the room.
Okay.
And so this
Okay.
is the
That's as
best
good as
setting
it's
I can
gonna
do
get?
right now. Yeah,
Okay.
but my light is on. For some reason, I haven't been able to get the screen light.
Yeah.
But even if my face isn't clear, my voice will always be clear.
Yes, it is very. Yes, Zoom is our new norm. So, all right, I'm going to facilitate. I hope you all got an idea of how the circle goes. Each person, is it 3 minutes, 4 minutes?
I put in 4 minutes, so
4
we
minutes.
have about, so yeah.
Okay, when y'all see me leaning in like that, I'm trying to read chat because even though the glasses, it's not working for me. So each person will have 4 minutes to speak on why they're interested in empathy or whatever is alive for you today. The other people that are not speaking, we ask that you mute and don't interrupt. So I'm going to start off by being the first listener, and I will pick someone to speak. I'm going to rephrase, repeat, or whatever. And the whole focus is for you to feel heard. So if I don't get it, that's not what you said, you can feel free to say it again in another way, or that's not what I said, or whatever, okay? And then the listener becomes the speaker. So I'm gonna start off being the listener, and then we'll circle around, and we may have enough time to do it a couple of times around. So who wants to be the first speaker? Who wants to talk to me first? Okay, and I will volunteer people. One other thing, when you're—
Precious raised her hand.
Did she?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
I was saying I don't mind.
Okay, well, and when the 4 minutes is up, when you're speaking and 4 minutes is up, I'll hold up this clock that you can't see. If you're in the middle of a sentence or a thought, finish. You don't have to cut it off, finish. And then the listener will, give you or rephrase or repeat or whatever. So don't feel like you have to just stop mid-sentence, okay? So we have 4 minutes and start now.
Okay. Why I'm interested in the empathy circle is I feel I'm an empath. And when I came across the notice on LinkedIn, it naturally caught my attention for that reason.
So you're at an empath, and on LinkedIn, you saw the notice for the empathy circle, and it immediately caught your attention. You were drawn to it.
It did. I was drawn to it for the word and for the fact that I feel I am an empath also. And I'm starting a new business, and it's involving consulting with other businesses for diversity, equity, and inclusion. And I have such a heart for connections, and that if we understand one another, we'll treat one another better if we understand certain truths. And this definitely appealed to me.
So you're starting your business, your new business is going to be consulting in the area of diversity and inclusion. And you feel like this is going to fit really well because when people feel heard, they tend to connect better.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then in just hearing you all in that first session, I'm better now. But just up until a few moments ago, my heart was a little balled up because I feel like this is so impactful. And then I feel that there are spaces that sometimes my emotion is so on the verge. And I think it's because I have not felt fully listened to by some important people in my life. And this definitely appeals to me.
So it was kind of in the beginning of this session, you were a little nervous, a little anxious. Your heart was a little filled, if you will, impactful, because as you listen, you realize that this may be the place for you, because a lot of times you don't feel heard by people that are important to you or that's important in your life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I do. You're correct. And I recognize how central this is to showing and receiving love. When people give the gift of empathy and actually listen, it translates as love. And the absence of that may translate to the opposite. So even if you're telling me you love me, I'm not feeling it because I'm feeling denied something that's most basic. And this has just shown me that and how it's possible to do it.
So, okay, empathy to you translates to love. And behavior, you can say you love me or you care about me, but it's the behavior that really matters. And the ability to empathize with others and to listen in an empathic way, again, translates into love, behavior. You're showing love.
Yes, that is
That's
correct.
Yeah.
And I don't know what my time is looking like.
You keep going.
Okay.
You got another?
Yeah. So, but in having this space, I feel like it is healing. It's healing for me that I can receive, and whatever good I get, since I am a people's person, I'm giving it back. I'm always going to give. That's why it's so important that I'm a healthy version, the healthiest that I can be, because whoever I am, I have a way of impacting that out.
Okay.
And so it's just this is a healing space to me.
So you're a people person, you connect with individuals, and this empathy circle and learning to listen in an empathic way is a healing process. And for you, and then if you get it, when you receive it, you're able to give it out, and it comes back. It's reciprocal.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That is the case. I thank you. You are correct, and I feel heard. Thank you.
Okay, great. All right. Now I'm the listener, so I get to pick pick someone to listen to me because I get to speak. So who wants to listen? I have a lot to say. Okay, Dwayne. All right. And we're gonna start. Okay. I'm interested in empathy because I am a mediator and an arbitrator. And in both of those situations, I have to really listen to what is being said to me in a non-judgmental way.
As a mediator and an arbitrator, listening is an essential skill for you, especially being able to listen in as unbiased way as possible.
Yes. Yeah, that's one of the big things about being a mediator. Well, the main thing is they refer to us as neutrals. We have to remain neutral throughout the whole process, no matter what we hear, and no matter how it's impacting us, we still have to remain neutral.
One of the important aspects of being a mediator or arbitrator sometimes referred to as neutral, is no matter how challenging the information you're receiving, still finding a way to remain neutral.
Yes. So the empathy circle is helping me in my profession. I actually had a mediation the other day where I I was able to practice empathic listening. Of course, I didn't tell the participants that's what I was doing because I was doing it myself. And I found that it takes real effort.
Recently, while you were working, you had an opportunity to apply some of the skills that you've learned here through the Empathy Circle Facilitation Training cafes through this process. And it was a useful tool for you while doing your work.
Yes. And it takes effort. It is an intentional practice. You just can't say, well, I'm listening and, you know, and multitask or whatever. You really have to focus in on what the person is saying. And not be ready to respond with a response. You have to really, it's an intentional process.
In short, being an active listener, participating in this empathy circle process, it's really important that, you know, that you stay focused. Yes. And you're listening.
Yes. And in my personal life, it's been very helpful because I tend to be wordy. I tend to interject, just jump right into the conversation. But after practicing some of these skills that I'm learning that just because I think it, I don't have to say it. So I can be quiet. And when I'm around my friends and we're all talking, I can purposely sit back and pay attention to what's going on. And what I notice most is how much we overtalk each other, but we still get the message out.
In your personal life, you found this also, the skills you're developing here, you found them to be useful because you have a lot to say generally, and you've had the experience that when you're having personal conversations, people tend to say a lot and you say it more than once. And so this is a way to stay focused on your message and to also really have appreciation for what other people are saying.
Exactly. Thank you, Dwayne. I feel fully heard.
Thank you.
So you were the listener, now you become the, all right, you got it?
Yes, I'm the speaker now.
Yes.
And so I would like to give Vanessa, if you're available, an opportunity to listen to me.
Unmute. Are you
Yes,
muted?
indeed, Dwayne, I'm listening.
Oh, okay. And welcome back. You know, for me, everything that I do in life is really about my own personal growth and development, first and foremost. The other thing that attracted me to empathy cafes, to eventually doing the training, is I work with the university-based student organization.
Dwayne, I hear that you are drawn to the empathy circle in order to help your work with university and student organizations. Beyond that, it helps with your own personal development, and your own personal growth, and your own journey.
And I would just, you know, change that word a little bit in that everything that I do in life starts with me in terms of my own personal growth and development. And then as an extension, whatever I'm doing is aligned with that.
So to be more accurate, you put your own agenda first, that this is about you and how you can improve yourself and your understanding, your empathy, your communication with people, your relationships, and that through that you become better at what you do with other people and in your work.
Yes. part of my basic philosophy of life is I'm the most important person in my life. And what I mean by that is I'm at the center of my life, and whatever I do to improve my own personal growth and development enhances the other roles that I play in life.
I hear you saying that you are first and foremost in control of yourself and who you are and what you can do and the decisions and choices that you make for yourself that enrich your life. And that in making that self-investedness, you can enrich other people's lives and reach out to them and become more empathic and more effective in reaching out to others.
Yes, and one of my, it's easy for me to speak in front of people. It's easy to raise my hand and be the first person to participate. I'm challenging myself to learn to listen more, to be quiet, to be a part of the group, to be more present in the listening process.
So it's easier for you to lead and show your eagerness to participate and jump at the chance to share and perhaps, raise your hand and get excited about it. And that perhaps there's an opportunity to hang back a little bit and listen and take it in, and then have an opportunity to move forward more steadily, more gradually.
Thank you. The only slight adjustment I would
Go
add
ahead.
is that in terms of it's not so much that I'm eager, it's easy, it's natural for me to speak up and to, be assertive.
So it's natural for you to come forward and to be assertive. And you would like it to be an outpouring from yourself to also be a listener.
Yes, thank you, Vanessa. I feel fully heard.
Okay, so Edwin,
Okay,
I
listening.
would like you to be my listener.
I'm listening.
I am interested in this empathy circle because I have a reverence for the environment. And right now I am feeling a lack of empathy for one of my housemates whom I perceive has a lack of reverence.
Mhm. So
I
can I
am
reflect
feeling-
that back? So I'm hearing that you have a sense
Yeah.
of reverence, I think, for life and the environment, and you're perceiving one of your roommates. This is your perception. You really want to, that they don't have that reverence.
Yes, I recycle and I make it my business to be educated about recycling and to know how to do it, what can and cannot be recycled. And she has made it clear to me that she is not interested in recycling correctly. She thinks it's better to recycle incorrectly than to not recycle at all, and that she doesn't have the headspace to figure it out. And she just throws plastic bags and metallic bubble wrap and just the stuff that it's frustrating.
Mhm. So you're feeling really frustrated because you like to recycle and put everything in the correct place. And she says she just doesn't have the space for doing that. And she just throws everything together, and you just feel really frustrated about that.
I do, and I'm really feeling judgmental towards her. I think it's really irresponsible. I think it's just stubbornness. I think it's, I think she's spiteful towards me, that she won't, she gets these food package deliveries, these big boxes to make dinner, and she puts the packaging materials in the recycling. I think it's just, she's not willing to learn. I think it's stubbornness and spitefulness. I'm not empathetic.
Yeah, you're just not feeling empathetic towards her because you're sensing a lot of your judgment too. Then you're feeling she's spiteful. She's just, yeah, just not willing to do this, like taking the packaging material and putting it in the recyclable packaging material, putting it into the recycling, and it's just really frustrating.
Now, the thing I have to mention is we have on the refrigerator what can be recycled, what cannot be recycled. We also have an image, the graphics, what can be recycled, what cannot be recycled. So it's there. It's not just me telling her. It's not me like giving her instructions and telling her what to do and being the mommy and like being the voice of, keep the police and keeping my thumb on her. It's there. It's in writing, and there's a graphic, and she just will not.
Yeah, so the instructions for how to do the recycling is actually, sounds like clearly placed on the refrigerator, how to do the steps, and she just won't do it. And it's not that you're there always pushing her, being the police, trying to enforce this. It's like it's a simple, instructions there, and she just will not do it.
And I've asked her about her motivations. Would she be willing to make a change? And she said no.
Mm-hmm. So you had asked her, trying to understand her motivations, and if she's willing to change, and she's just given sort of an emphatic no to it.
I feel really disappointed.
Yeah, feeling some deep disappointment there around this.
Yeah.
I think that was the time too. So
yeah, thank you for
Okay,
listening.
thanks.
I feel fully heard.
I'll speak to Jed then.
I'm listening, Edwin.
Okay, just some reason the weight room, I have to remove them. Okay, yeah, I just thinking of Vanessa's story, that one thing that might help is to hold a house empathy circle around this, because a lot of times if you have these conflicts and all this frustration, if you just talk about it, all these emotions come up, and it's hard to, people are just sort of spiteful because they maybe don't feel heard or whatever, so saying, hey, let's have a family, or we do it in families too, but a household empathy circle to talk about recycling might be helpful, because yeah.
So yeah, I hear that hearing Vanessa's story brought up for you a helpful suggestion of having a empathy circle, a smaller, intimate family empathy circle.
Yeah, in her case, it sounds like it's a roommate household empathy circle. So that might be, take the training, learn how to, you can just use the instructions, give a handout to everyone, explain how the process works. And it's fairly, unless there's a really difficult, challenging conflict, sometimes it can blow up, but having these basic instructions will really help everyone feel heard, because the empathy circle is really good first step for conflict mediation.
So yeah, the empathy circle I hear is like a really good tool for conflict mediation and just getting people's emotions and thoughts out and into the open, and being able to look at them together and just work together through them.
And I've done it in my family, my extended family. Like once it was Christmas and my mother and sister-in-law had a fight. They were going about because the kids had gotten into the gifts. My sister-in-law was blaming my mother. My mother said, "Don't you dare talk to me this way." And they were going at it. And I just started, I thought, okay, I'm Mr. Empathy. I better step into this. So I just started empathizing with my sister-in-law, listening to her, reflecting back. Then I started listening to my mother, reflected back, and I went back and forth, a bunch of times till they both started feeling heard and they calmed down. Then I got them to start listening to each other using Empathy Circle. And it turned into the whole family came. We had a big family Empathy Circle, and it ended with hugs. So it was like, and after that, the family said, "Oh, this is pretty good. We're willing to do this going forward." Yeah.
So there was a conflict with your sister-in-law and mother over Christmas about the children's gifts, and they had a big conflict, and you were able to initially act as the mediator, listening to both sides and just being empathetic towards both individuals, and while being the messenger, eventually getting them to talk to each other and listen to each other. And then that evolved into a whole family gathering Empathy Circle, which they were receptive to and willing to participate in the future in.
Yeah, and the conflict was not about the gifts. It was like peeling the onion away. The conflict was totally somewhere else. The conflict was about a sense of belonging in the family or not belonging. And when that real conflict was brought to the surface, then it actually ended with, and it was shared, it kind of ended with hugs, all around once people really understood the conflict.
And so, yeah, the gifts seem to be a trigger for a bigger, deeper conflict or emotional feelings about belonging in the family. And once those were uncovered through the Empathy Circle, they were able to be resolved.
Mm-hmm. I feel fully heard. Thanks.
You're welcome. Okay, I guess Precious can you listen to me?
Yes, I will.
So I guess I'm interested in this Empathy Circle because I also work with college students, specifically college students interested in the environment and who care a lot about climate change and just what is going on in our planet. Yeah.
Okay, so you're interested in this because you work with students who are interested in the environment and in our climate. They are sensitive to what's going on in it, and that has caused your interest in this circle as part of why you're interested.
Yeah, definitely. At least as an initial point, we're actually working with Edwin to help plan a healing circle in Berkeley, but specifically around like California has been really dealing with wildfires, wildfire smoke, and a bunch of different scary climate impacts, and then just hearing about different climate effects all over the nation and world, with hurricanes. And yeah, just when you study environmentalism and climate change, it can be a really depressing topic. So just wanting to like provide space for these students to talk about these things, and the community too.
Okay, so you're working with Edwin to help provide healing spaces because of all of the things going on with climate change. It's very impactful, especially where you are in Berkeley, that area where you've had fires and some of the other climatic events that are going on. They can result in just depression that people have to deal with as a result of these things that are happening.
And yeah, I think, and I guess on a personal note, just I feel like I've always been a really good listener / like person to take on people's emotions, but have never had that like for me and never been awarded or like, you know, granted that from family members or just like, yeah, I like, you know, kind of different from Dwayne. I like doing the listening and not so much the talking. So I think that can be good practice to participate.
So on a personal level, it's pretty natural where you have tended to be the listener and you listen to others, but have not always felt that that has been able to be reciprocated to you and your family, your immediate circles, where you have received that. And so this is helpful in giving you an opportunity to feel heard also.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I guess just knowing that it's like good to take up space and to share what's on my mind or how I'm feeling and what my thoughts are, because yeah, I just have dealt with a lot of like gaslighting or just like invalidating, guilt tripping that like, yeah, it made me like, oh, okay, I'll never share my feelings with others. So yeah, just trying to work on that, I guess, too.
Okay, so you've dealt with a lot of different manipulation techniques where the other person, when you've tried to share, has been able to turn things on you through gaslighting and other manipulation, which gave you the response of, you know, it cost you, it was painful to receive that reaction. So it taught you, I just guess I won't share. And so that has been some learned responses to that treatment.
Thank you, Precious. I feel fully heard.
I have a question.
Sorry, I was muted. Yes.
I have a question.
Yes.
When I was listening to Dwayne, I don't think I did a really good job. And he appropriately reclarified so that I would do better. But the time was up and he said, I feel fully heard. But what if you don't feel fully heard?
Then you be authentic and say, I wasn't fully heard. And that's okay. We're practicing now. We have these times. So everybody has an opportunity. But when you're in a conversation with a person and you're doing it, it's okay to say, I don't feel fully heard. Maybe I should say it another way. But yeah, don't say you feel fully heard if you haven't. And it's okay if you haven't. In this circle, in this brave space, as somebody call it, I call it a safe space. That's the reason we practice.
Okay.
And it is intentional, and you will sometimes, you're not gonna be 100%.
Okay. Then
So
I'm
it's
gonna
okay.
ask
Can we
Dwayne.
just say, can we just say, we don't want to break out of the circle. So we're
Yeah, we
breaking
wanna
out of the circle. We want to stay within the process. So when it's your turn to speak, you can bring up all those issues too.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it was Precious's turn to select someone. So we want to
Yeah.
stay within the process to have that discussion. So.
Okay.
Thank you, Edwin.
Okay, I'll choose Dwayne. Can you hear me? Okay. Now, okay, so this is my second turn to answer the same questions. Is that what I'm
Or to
doing?
speak about whatever you like that's on your mind.
Speak on whatever you want.
Okay. I will say that what's fresh on my mind is what Vanessa just brought up, because I don't remember what the exact point was at the end, but I do remember thinking I might have summed that up differently. And I appreciate how Linda clarified that there will be times that you won't feel heard properly or to your liking. And that's natural. That's just a part of the process.
If I understand correctly what you're saying, Precious, is that you were listening to what Vanessa was saying and you could identify with that to a point where you felt like at the end of the listening to Jed that you may have not completely understood or properly interpreted what he had said.
Okay. No, actually, I was referring to when she talked to you, how she summed your dialogue up. I felt that I would have, I got something slightly different from it than what she got from it. It wasn't my place to say. That's why this is a good practicing time. But I felt that I would have said it differently with you. And it just shows that in any type of human communication, it's not always 100% the first time or period. It takes time and effort to really get the essence of what a person is saying. Even if it's not the exact wording, you want to understand and be able to really be able to relate to that person from that person's perspective and not our own.
So actually, you were referring to what I was saying and how Vanessa interpreted, and that you would have perhaps interpreted a little bit differently, and how important it is to really listen to what people were saying and to make sure that you're really feeling what they're saying and being able to give that back to them.
Absolutely. That is what I feel. And it shows me how this is such a nice way to practice. And it's so structured in the sense of we get to learn the rules and how to follow them. In the real life, we don't get 4 minutes. We're just going, or our person is sharing. I'm thinking about the most recent conversation, heated one, let's say, that I was a part of. And a person can easily feel like, no, that's not what I'm saying. And I get how in real time, people do not always feel heard. And it may take going back over until it's clear if the people are interested in actually getting it correct.
Okay. I just wanted to ask you to pause a little bit so that I can make sure that I'm fully hearing what you're saying and be able to provide you with accurate feedback. This process is really good because it gives you, it's time to give you a chance to practice this skill. But in the real world, in real time, it's really challenging. You recently had an experience, if I think I understand correctly, where it was a really heated conversation. And after the person finished what they were saying, they said that, no, you didn't hear what I had to say. And so this can be a really challenging process.
Absolutely. Most definitely. I feel it is. Thank you. And I do feel fully heard.
Thank you. Okay.
I told you we were going to have fun, so now you pick, Dwayne.
This was, okay, I need to pick a listener. And this time, is it okay to pick Linda?
Yeah.
Okay, I picked Linda to be my listener. One of the things I really enjoy about attending or participating in the empathy cafes is I always learn and grow from the process.
What you like about participating in the empathy circles is you always learn and grow something new every day, every time.
In theory, since I work with a college-based community service fraternity, in fact, Jed, I used to be the advisor for Alpha Phi Omega at UC Berkeley for 5 years. I'm doing this to improve my skills for the people that I work with, but really it's all about me and making myself a better person.
So you're doing this because you communicate or you work with the on-campus fraternity, Alpha
Phi.
Phi, yeah, okay. And so as you learn, you'll be better able to do your job in a more effective way. More knowledge, more skill.
Yes. In addition to that, everything I do is really about me and learning how to be a better person. And so even when I work as a volunteer, I'm retired, advising Alpha Phi Omega community service-based fraternity. Currently, I'm advising the chapter at UNLV.
Okay, so this is volunteer work. You're advising the chapter at this particular ULB, this university. And apologize for not getting the letters, the acronym correct, but you work with this fraternity in a volunteer status, and you believe that the better you are to serve.
Yeah, in essence, yes. And my goal, or part of my goal for the rest of my life, is to serve, to learn how to be more kind, to learn to be less judgmental, to be more understanding. And so everything that I do is aligned with my personal journey. And one of the ways I can contribute is by advising a college-based organization.
Okay, so your goal in life is just to be a better person, to be a better listener, to communicate with people better. And what you're doing in this volunteer status is just part of the process of reaching your goal. So your goal is just to be a good person here on earth.
It's a really great summary. And so even participating in empathy cafes, this is a part of my personal journey, and this is part of my personal growth and development, which will help me with the other part of that goal. And again, providing service, contributing something positive to the people around me and in the world that I'm living in.
Okay, so this whole participation in the Empathy Circle and getting more familiar with it as a personal goal is helping you towards your personal goal of being a better person, and especially in the area of service. You want to make an impact, you want to make a difference. And this is helping you along the way. This learning is helping you along the way.
Yes, and really, I'm an incredibly selfish person. My goal is to give my life away for the rest of my life and make a positive contribution. So I consider everything that I'm doing is working towards my goal, my magnus opus, my great work for the rest of my life.
Yeah, okay, so your personal goal is to just be a better person and to share that with the world. And you call it selfishness. You label it as selfishness, but you just want to share goodness, the goodness in you with people around you that you come in contact with.
Thank you. You didn't hear me at all. No, I'm just kidding. I feel fully hurt.
All right. Look at the look on my face. I'm like, okay, let's do it again. No, okay.
I appreciate, you did a great job of
that's good.
Of the nuances of what I had to say. So I feel fully heard.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So now I will ask Vanessa to listen,
Okay,
if you will.
yes.
Okay. I'm going to follow up on what you were saying about your housemate and the apparent frustration that you're having with people not adhering to the recycling rules, guidelines. Now I'll stop there.
I noticed that you were paying attention to my issue about recycling and that you wanted to respond to that.
Yes. And even though we're learning the skills, the empathy skills, the skills necessary to form a circle, I also recognize that there will always be people that will reject that, be obstinate.
I hear your recognition that as we cultivate our own capacity to be empathetic, we will always inevitably encounter people who aren't interested.
Yes, that's true. And, you know, there are different paths for everyone. We cannot all travel the same road at the same time trying to get to the same place. Well, none of us will get there.
Right. Different people have different values, different ideas, different styles. They have their own values and their own choices on how they want to conduct themselves.
Yes. In my younger life, I would try to convince people, of course, that I was always right. And I would spend a lot of energy doing that. As I've grown, I've learned to conserve my energy.
In your younger years, you had ideas that you believed were correct, and you held fast to them, and you wanted other people to agree and behave as you did and think as you did. And over time, you've realized that that was a lot of energy not well spent.
Yeah, correct. So I had to accept the fact that everybody does not have the same values. Everybody doesn't have the same agenda. And we have to, if we want to be empathetic, we have to learn to allow people to be who they are.
So it's a good idea to be aware of other people's values and agendas and accept them where they are and not hold them to our own agendas and let them be.
Yes. And so sometimes we just have to, I've learned that I have to accept things as they are, work on things that I have the ability to control and not step outside my lane.
Yes, so to think about the things that I can change and the things that I cannot change and keep my side of the sidewalk on track.
Yes, and I feel fully heard. Thank you.
All right.
Very good.
Thank you. Okay. I will ask Jed to listen.
Yes, I'm listening.
Okay, one of my values is generosity. And I assumed this value once I heard someone on television being asked, what is your highest value? And they said generosity. And after that, I thought about it and I decided that that would be one of my highest values.
Generosity is really important to you as one of your top values, and you learned that from someone on TV who shared that that was also one of their top values, and you decided to also adopt.
And yeah, and in March, I was in a financial crisis. Some hustlers on the computer hustled me out of a couple of $1,000s, and I was in a bad spot and I didn't see the hustle. I didn't see what they were doing. They were trying to help me and I didn't intervene because I was in trouble and they were trying to help me. And I didn't know how to stop the hustle because I was in trouble and they were trying to help me. And I didn't know how to when someone's trying to help you, but they're hustling you, it's hard to stop.
I hear that in March, you were in a tough spot and you fell victim to a online or like a scam that cost you thousands of dollars. And these people were posed a situation where they were trying to solve your problem and help you, but
Exactly.
they cheated you.
Exactly. And then my PayPal account got hacked and they took thousands of, it was horrible. It was a horrible month. It was a crash of deception. And I turned to my community and my friends and loved ones, and they buoyed me financially. They came to my aid and they helped me financially.
Yeah, that seems like a really tough time in your life that you just had $1,000 taken away, and you were so grateful and lucky for your community who's able to like rally together and provide for you financially.
Right. And then now months later, I've gotten back on my feet and I've been able to give back. And one organization gave me $100 and I was able to give $100 back. What's interesting is through my work, I get paid money. And then I get paid money. Go ahead.
In the past few months, you were able to get back on your feet and start paying people back for what they helped you with.
Right. So I get paid money for my business. And I worked a job just last week and I got paid for it. And then on top of it, they mailed me extra money. So it's like the generosity of the universe is going around. People helped me. I'm paying back. People are sending more help. It's this amazing opportunity for everybody to give and receive.
I hear that you really feel like generosity is in the air from the problem that and crisis that you experienced back in March all the way till now, and then recently you got some extra money from your business service, and you just feel very grateful for all of that in the universe.
I do, and I feel fully heard. Thanks, Jed.
So just a heads up, we have only a minute and a half. We'll be closing, so probably not enough time for another. Yeah.
For debriefing, we got, before we all go back into the room, does anybody, Vanessa, yes, Dwayne.
Just a really quick comment. It's interesting, Vanessa and Precious, I wanted to quickly address the comments. Actually, I felt fully heard by Vanessa. There were a couple nuanced comments that I would have said differently, but I felt fully heard, and that's why I answered that I felt fully heard. So actually, Vanessa, you did a really good job of listening to me. And I also appreciate what you were saying, Precious, because quite often when I'm listening to what people say, I think, oh, I would have said that a little bit differently. So thank you both actually for the feedback.
And that's a very good point, Dwayne. It's not about the other, it's about the speaker. Are they feeling fully heard to the person that they're speaking to? That's a very good point.
I had
So
a
we
point
could-
too.
Yes.
Oh, I was gonna say in the response to you, Dwayne, when I was speaking and you were like, whoa, 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 I thought at times, not often, my poor husband, like that maybe, maybe what didn't seem a lot to me can seem a lot to the other person if he's trying to receive it.
All right, yeah, we're going back into the main setting now.
Thank you.
That's very good.
Thanks,
Very
everyone.
good.
Thank
That's
you.
lovely.
That was great. See a lot of smiling faces. Learning is fun. That's how I see it.
I agree.
Last minute.
Jed, was I correct? Are you at UC Berkeley?
Yes, I work on campus.
Yeah. I advised a group there for 5 years. So, and my sister graduated there and was on the alumni board for years. So I'm very familiar with your campus.
Yeah, Alpha Phi Omega. I'm familiar. I've heard of them.
Okay, well, welcome back, everyone. Linda, you're going to do this part?
Yes, we're going to have a group debriefing, and I'm going to just call on people. I'll, probably say, Diane, you speak, and then Vanessa. Each person has about 30 seconds to share any learnings or insights they received from the Empathy Circle that you just participated in. So hopefully I will not miss anybody. I'm going to pull up this participants list and go from there. Okay. Janice, and if you're not speaking, I'm going to ask you to mute your mic. Janice, if you would go first. Do we have a Janice? Okay.
Muted. Janice is muted. Can you unmute?
Okay, Janice, if you could unmute. Okay. Well, while Janice is working on hers, let's see if, how about Jacqueline, Minister Jacqueline? If you would unmute and just give us 30 seconds of what you, insight from the circle.
Thank you. I would have to say that the group that I was with is a group of sisters, women, I'll call them sisters. We had definitely had a deep connection. It was in somewhat of an emotional group, but it was great to have that thread that brought us together. So I thank you all for facilitating this so that we can be better at being great listeners and more empathetic to the people that are in our lives or the people that we come across.
Right. Vanessa?
Good afternoon. I learned that I need to keep it more simple in my responses. And I will do better in my understanding if I follow the linear message that I'm hearing.
Okay.
In a more linear manner.
All
And
right.
keep my interpretation simpler.
Okay, we'll have Dwayne and then Precious.
I just want to say thank you to the people who were in our group. I enjoyed listening, learning, and communicating. And for me, always this process is rewarding because it's helping me grow as a person. It also reminds me that I still have a lot of work to do. And so I'm looking forward to continuing the journey.
Okay, and that's a Dwayne.
Precious.
Yeah, Precious.
Okay,
Yeah.
I was just going to say, and my group was great. I enjoyed you all so much. And the whole process, the practice, is definitely beneficial to me. And one of the things I learned that hit me even after we got back to the breakout room is that I might sometimes need a space of debriefing before I go to a particular person that I may have a need to be heard by. Because there are times that we are too much for certain people. Not in that there's anything wrong with us or even them, but sometimes there may need to be a middle space, depending on, you go to the people who are able to receive you and at that time, and maybe not everyone can take in everything at the time in the way that you need. Your needs could even be extensive, at least for them. So I realize there's a responsibility sometimes in being able to understand my needs first, maybe, and then having more than one way and more than one person who can meet that.
All right. Okay, 30 seconds, Robin, and then Diane.
Sure. Wow, this was a very powerful group today. And it's kind of amazing to me that I come in anticipating learning one thing and I end up learning so much more. So I thank you for that.
All right. And Diane? Deanne, I'm not sure how to say it.
Deanne, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to my group. This is my second cafe, and I felt much more focused today than I was last week. And I learned some things about myself in terms of being able to bring my focus away from my everyday stuff, and hopefully learn that how that benefit can be for others when I facilitate empathy circles. So thank you.
All right. Kenya, and then Michelle.
So we had a group, and it was really wonderful for people to discharge and be heard and witnessed. And it was really great. When we were coming back in, we were gonna talk about something that one of the individuals just, so I think it was really a great group of people, and too bad we didn't have more time. I'll say that. So.
Yeah, Michelle.
And yes, I was very thankful and grateful to be in such a humbling group of powerful women that I was in my group, and that I learned that in regards to empathy, that we have to be mindful of the space that we're in, whether we're the listener or the receiver, and to make sure that we stay in our lane. And we have to sometimes fight against our inclination to want to answer their question or to want to fix their situation, but we are just listening. And so we're just repeating what they're said. We're not solving or fixing anything. We're not the Olivia Popes in the group, but it was a very powerful group. Thank you so much, everyone in my group.
Okay. Pius, and then BJ.
Thank you. For me, it was a beautiful experience. I got to be heard and I got to listen. So just out of that, for me, it was the best experience ever. So I'm grateful for my group. Thank you.
Okay.
Greetings, everyone. For me, I just want to say my group was awesome. And for me, I think feeling heard and knowing that there's no right or wrong way to do it. There's no right or wrong answer. Just listening and restating what you hear or what you think you heard. So basically no right or no wrong way, just what you feel. So I look forward to November.
Okay. All right. Great. All right. Minnie, and then Shauna.
I thoroughly enjoyed the group. Very fascinating. There's a wealth of knowledge and compassion in the group. And I believe that we're at a good point, starting together, learning together. And I believe that the facilitators, I have I think about, I have a speech impediment, and that's why I work with the children that I work with, because they also have speech impediments. But I'm thrilled to be a part of this, because I do know and believe there is a lot of good that we all are going to be able to do coming out of this group and moving forward.
All right, great. Shanna?
Shauna.
Okay, good.
So I found, again.
Wait, can we see you?
Okay.
There you go. That pretty smile. All right.
So it's overcast, so
it's good.
The lights on. But this has been an amazing experience. This is my second time. I found the space to be safe. And that space, of course, the safety of it create that sense of empathy, which is the main aim. And for me, I think the group I was with, it was just amazing. And I'm looking forward to the training in November, because I see where this can definitely help me and those I come in contact with. So
Great.
Excellent.
All right. Melanie, and then Janice, have you went? So Melanie first. And if we could see you, that would be great. Thank you.
Hi,
Yes.
I'm Melody. Can you see me? I'm Melody.
Yes.
This was a great start. I enjoyed hearing everyone's story, because I always tell people that work with me, I always say, listen to understand, not to respond. And listening to everyone's story, hearing, what they have to say, it was very powerful. And I feel that once we come out of this, we will all be better people, and we'll be suited to help others as well.
All right, great. That's it. Janice Azar.
Janice said that she just prefers to listen and she doesn't have any feedback right now.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you. Tanel, and then Andy.
Sure, I can go. I can turn on my camera, but I am in my car, so excuse me.
Okay.
Thankful for my team. It was a great eye opener to me for the things that I actually need to work on, and that was actually listening to respond. So I noticed that I did that a lot, and I'm just really looking forward to getting more involved in this process and also learning more. So thank you for teaching me today, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Tanel. Andy.
Hi, I am camera off, but I really enjoyed my group, and I think that it was just also really good to refresh the skills and to find folks who are like-minded in terms of what is one method we would like to use to bring about positive change in the world.
All right. And I'm finna mess up a name, Shakar, and then Nikala. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, we can. Yeah, it's not working. Your volume.
But I'm really grateful for the Empathy Circle, and I'm looking forward to see you in November. And what I will take back from today, from my groups, would be, beside the empathy, would be to be more ourselves, to be natural, and to treat everyone equal, and think of it as equal to us. Thank you.
Thank you. Could you pronounce your name, please?
You pronounced it correct. It's Scott.
Okay. All right. Nikala.
Hello, everyone. I'm very grateful.
Can we see you? Are we able to see you?
Oh, no, sorry. I've been crying. It's fine.
It's okay. All right.
My apologies. Maybe next time.
Okay.
I'm very grateful to be here and to listen to everyone and to give feedback and to receive feedback from others. I thank Celine for hosting our group today. It was nice. It was overall nice. I'm happy to listen to everyone.
All right. We hope those are tears of joy. Did I miss anyone? Did I
Jed
miss
go?
anyone?
Was Jed?
I don't see. Okay, Jose.
Hola.
Hello.
My second day or the second training was awesome. Thank Kathy for keeping everything aligned and me, because I still don't understand how to do it. But everybody's feedback is kind of what I felt, and understanding certain things of understanding like wordage of things that we were talking about. But at the end, just I'm building my group of people that are on the same like-minded of helping the community and helping themselves. And thank you everybody for being here today.
All right, thank you. Anybody else? I have limited screen, so I can't.
Did Jed go? Did Jed you go?
David, okay, Jed.
Yeah, just echoing what a lot of people said. It was a good experience, and I appreciate the structure of like learning how to listen first instead of responding or sharing advice or anything like that. So I appreciated my group and the time we had together today. So thank you to all the facilitators.
Okay. All right. If I missed anyone, I apologize. Please just jump in, open your mic and jump in. Okay. Apparently I didn't. I'll turn it back over to Edwin.
Okay, thanks, Linda, and thanks everyone. So this, as you'll see with the empathy circle process, it gets easier over time. So to begin with, you feel maybe a bit awkward about it, but you do it over and over and over, and you get better at listening. So it's a skill we're all learning. It's really a lifetime of learning, but this is more like a practice, just like when we have muscles. You know, we're all born with muscles. We all have are born with empathy, but it needs to be practiced and exercised. And that's what the empathy circle is. It's a place to exercise those muscles, tone them up, you know, make them stronger. And the same way as we're toning up those empathy muscles and making them stronger and sort of expanding it. And then not only that, you become a trainer of it. So you can start teaching others how to tone up their empathy muscles, and you can also use it, you know, for just, you know, for doing a lot of constructive practices. It's good for just maintaining well-being, general well-being. In our circle, the topic of healing, how empathy is so healing in any sort of emotional, you know, issues. It can be very healing. It's the foundation for conflict mediation. So someone in our group is having some conflict in their home. So it's about, you know, you can bring the parties together into an empathy circle, and you can really resolve a lot of conflict with the empathy circle. And also for designing, if you want to design solutions to any problem, you first need to really understand the felt experience and the impact it's going to have on people that you're designing for. So in the design community, empathy is very central. So there's a huge amount of benefits. And what we have here, I'm going to put a link in. If you can click on that link, if you're able to click on that link or save it, if you just click on it, you'll see that that's a feedback form. So it's a feedback introduction to this session today. Type in your email, your name and your email. You can fill out a few other questions there, and that'll just keep us in contact. We can add you to our discussion, our email list, let you know about upcoming sessions and anything like that. So that's the basics. I think we're pretty much on time. And so please do fill out that form. And see you next week. We'll be here again next week. As I said, it's practice, practice, practice. You'll notice that you're rewiring your brain for that empathy. Yeah. It's like neurons that fire together, wire together. So the more you do this listening, your brain is sort of wiring up to make it a more natural response. Yes. So and it's very, yeah, it just has so many benefits. So thank you all for coming. And if you can turn on your video for the last session, we'd like to get a group portrait with our jazz hands to give everybody a chance to turn on their video. If you haven't done it, just for a second. Yeah, and yeah, let's get that. let's get those jazz hands or twinkle fingers as we say goodbye. So goodbye for now, and thank you so much for taking part. See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye all.